Hi everyone, this video is a part of my Korea University's coding tutorials.
Hi everyone. Today we'll be talking about how we store and manage data through variables and different options we have available to us. This is really where the fun begins. Data types. Starting off, we'll talk about data types. What is a data type? Essentially, it's a category of information which allows us to separate different kinds of data to use in our program. We have already seen a common data type when we spoke about colors, such as whole number like 20 or 255. We use ints, short for integers, for things that are always going to be whole numbers, like stages of game, the number of people at a party, or the number of moons Saturn has. Another common data types which we use a lot include floats, which are like decimal numbers such as 2.5 or 150.8. A good way to remember this is that the decimal point floats between the numbers. Floats are great for storing values when we need more precision, but can be used like ints. Some examples are speed, distance, account balance, etc. Our next data type is called a boolean. This is a kind of like a status or light switch. Booleans only hold either a true value or a false value. This means we have stored the true or false value of a status in a variable like a light switch or game over. The final data type we'll talk about is called a character or char. Character just hold a single symbol contained within a single quote. Characters can be almost anything from a letter of the alphabet, a number, a math symbol, or even a space. Chars can also be quite special because of the ASCII values. This means we can have a character variable that stores the letter A, the ASCII value 65, which will print a capital A, or even a symbol of a math operator as we talk about. If we print a symbol, it won't function like it normally would, but just display the symbol. For example, here, the simple multiply symbol printed only, not the math operator. Literals. Literals are a fixed value that are used directly in our program. Sometimes we call these magic numbers because they seem to magically influence our program. We try to avoid these because if we want to change that value, we have to manually go through to find and update that value everywhere. Is there a better way? There is. Variables. We have mentioned them a little before. A variable is a way of storing data in a container of sorts that's saved in the computer's memory for later use. Variables follow similar rules of data types, and we try to match up the data type we are using in the correct variable. Variables can hold anything from values we'll reuse in the program, outputs of an equation, or a condition like game over or light switch. Variables are declared with a data type and a name, and initialized with the value. Often, this is all done on the same line, like integer a equal 20. But these can also be done on separate lines, which is useful if we know the name we want to use, but might need more information before we can assign a value to it. This is just an example, but we can declare a variable called first on one line, and then afterwards give it a value on another line. In this example, these two lines are directly beneath each other. In our program, they could be much further apart, which could even be inside a function such as setup. We'll go through a more in-depth example in upcoming sections. Variable names and scope. Variable name needs to be unique, and ideally a meaningful name that describes what kind of data it holds and its purpose. The tricky part we'll talk about shortly is the scope and visibility of the variables. The way we talk about that visibility, we use the term global and local variables. Local variables are variables that are defined within a function. They cannot be seen or used outside of that function. On the other hand, global variables are declared at the top of our program and can be used throughout. This means we can have a variable of the same name. We usually avoid this situation, but here's a great way to demonstrate this. If we have a global character variable called letter, and we assign the character of lowercase z to it, then we also have the character variable letter declared inside the setup function, but this time we give it the value 99. Depending on which variable we access, the value printed will come out differently. That's all for this section. Thanks everyone. See you soon.